Enjoying it.
So can you tell us a little bit about what it was like for you taking the science and math classes at our college? Like what went well, what was hard? We would love to get feedback that we can share with instructors and disability specialists, and also perhaps other students who might be taking these classes in the future.
I had one experience taking a chemistry class. It was new for me, so it was a bit awkward. I was taking the class and then COVID hit. Things sort of went awry. I don't blame the instructor, but I wish that I'd had more access to the teacher's notes than just what was on the Zoom screen, trying to copy down what was on the Zoom screen. I was trying to watch the interpreter, watch the instructor. I had a notebook. We all had a notebook, and we had to follow the notebook structure. So it was a struggle to follow what was happening on Zoom while taking notes. So I asked the teacher, do you mind sharing the notes, your notes? And I think that'll help me connect the concepts, from your lecture and whatever I can jot down. And she said, no. She said, I don't want to share my notes because you might share with other students. And I said, no, I just want more access to the material. I'm trying to watch the interpreter. It's hard for me to watch that and take notes at the same time via Zoom. And so I'm disappointed that she wasn't more open to working with me and helping to make things work so I had access to the class. That was disappointing. So I failed that class. I got behind. So that would be my feedback. I wish instructors would be a little bit more flexible and understanding of when I'm asking for help. I really do want the help. I'm not just, not caring about the class or, not doing my part. It's because I want to improve and I want to do well in the class.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that happened. And it does sound like a huge shift from an in-person class to then online. And I know it was really difficult for pretty much everybody. So were you then able to retake the class?
Yeah.
Were you then able to retake the class and get the accommodations that you needed?
Yes, thank you.
Do you have any, do you want to explain just briefly about what it was like using interpreters, perhaps in some of the in-person classes? How did that work for you?
We all have good and bad experiences with interpreters. I'm really proud kind of how I interact with interpreters. I work with them so that we're like a team. Most of my experiences have been positive. Some of the interpreters I worked with for many years, so we've really learned how to work out, working together as a team, my needs and their abilities and how to match those up. So I've had a good experience, and I've been impressed with the interpreters here at SRJC with their ability to also improve themselves and become better, to get creative with science, because right now in the STEM fields, it's becoming a little bit more popular. And there's not a lot of STEM signs. So we have to sort of brainstorm and come up with and assign signs to specific concepts. Sometimes a specific word can have different meanings or more depth in the word. For example, if you're talking about protein, some people assign protein, which is muscle. But if you take cell biology, it's protein like this. It's the structure of a protein, which is different than protein, for your muscles. So it depends on the concept. And with atoms, you have atom like this. but some chemists explain that with atom structure, they sign it like this. So it's different than atom like this. So, you have to basically understand the concept, or if you have a basic understanding of the concept versus a deeper understanding of the concept, you're going to sign it differently, right? If you really understand what atoms do, for example, then it's a sign that makes sense. So it's the interpreter's job to make a picture and discuss some signs, not just give some whatever sign, kind of surfacey sign, but really come up with signs that make sense conceptually. I've mostly had positive experiences, but a few negative experiences with interpreters who aren't willing to sort of meet my needs, or that we just don't mesh well. If I say, could you sign that differently, but they keep signing it the way they want to sign it, which leads to me, becoming confused. Some seem to not be up to date, or not be present while they're at their job interpreting. They might be distracted on their phone. I'll say the teacher's instructing us, okay, hold on a second, while they're still tending to their phone. I'm like, please, it's important. I want to know what's happening. I don't want to miss information. The interpreter will be like, oh, I'm sorry, I had to answer. Someone emailed me, or, I've had a couple of experiences like that. It's like, this is my time, my education. That seems like something that interpreters can handle after class, not while they're working, right? So I think that, that those are a couple of negative experiences I've had where improvements could be made.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. One of the things I'm hearing also is how important it is for the interpreters to have prep time so they can learn some of the concepts in more detail. And I know that's something that we do, and I think it would be great for, pretty much all interpreters in difficult classes to have time to really understand the material. And it sounds like the examples you gave were excellent, related to protein or the atom, and that there's so much more that needs to be understood rather than just the word. So, yeah. And then you also need time to meet with them so that you can agree on the signs that you're going to use together. So both of those things seem really important. And yes, of course, we would like them to put their phones away, right? Yeah.
Yep. I also make sure the interpreters are included on Canvas also, that they have access to the information at the same time that I do, so that when the instructor is ready to lecture, we're all ready. They already have the information there in their brain and they're ready, rather than, I don't know, this is clearly the first time they've, heard the information or seen the information. So the best semesters I've had are when interpreters are included in Canvas, right? And they get added to the list and it works out.